You know it, you love it, you've definitely busted a move to it, right?
Yeah.
YMCA.
Oh, absolutely.
From sports stadiums to wedding receptions, this song is everywhere. But
It's inescapable.
how much do we really know about YMCA beyond those iconic 4 letters
And their dance moves.
and the even more iconic arm movements?
Yeah, it's a fascinating case study, really. You've got this seemingly simple party anthem that's become a global phenomenon, but underneath there are layers of cultural significance,
Oh, yeah.
hidden meanings, and even some controversy.
Which is where this deep dive comes in.
Yeah.
Today, we're putting YMCA by the Village People under the microscope.
Under the microscope, I like it.
We've got articles, interviews, even a Guinness World Record or two to unravel the story behind the song.
Wow, a Guinness World Record. Didn't know that. Well, it's a story that goes way beyond the music itself. We're talking cultural impact,
For sure.
evolving interpretations, and how YMCA has managed to spark debates that continue to this day.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. YMCA hit the airwaves back in 1978 as part of the Village People's album, Cruisin'. Now, you'd think a song this popular would have been a straight shot to the top of the charts, right?
Right, you would think so.
#1 hit, here we come.
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that.
Oh,
In the US, YMCA actually peaked at #2
really?
twice.
Oh, wait.
First, it got stuck behind Le Freak by Sheep.
Oh, Le Freak. Good song.
Then Rod Stewart swooped in with Die, I Think I'm Sexy.
Of course, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Classic.
But here's where it gets interesting. Internationally, YMCA was a chart topper, especially in the UK and Australia.
Now that you mention it, Australia really embraced the Village People, didn't they?
They did, big time.
And get this. The song's iconic music video actually came out before MTV even existed.
That's right. This was the pre-MTV era when music videos were still finding their footing, especially in the US. Europe, however, was already embracing the format. So
Interesting.
the YMCA video got tons of exposure there,
Makes sense.
highlighting the influence of international markets and how they could make or break a song's success. It also speaks to the global reach of disco at the time.
And speaking of things with global reach, we can't forget about the group behind this phenomenon. The Village People. The costumes, the cowboy, the construction worker, the policeman, they're instantly recognizable even today.
Oh, for sure.
But here's something many people don't realize. The members weren't all actually gay, were they?
You're right, and that's a really important detail. The group's composition was actually a mix of identities, even though they were playing into stereotypes often associated with gay culture at the time.
It really makes you think about how different things were back then.
It does. The 70s were a very different time, particularly when it came to LGBTQ plus visibility and acceptance. This was a period when being openly gay was still widely stigmatized.
Yeah.
So when you look at how the Village People were marketed, especially to a mainstream audience, it raises some complex questions about representation, parody, and even exploitation. The fact that YMCA was later embraced as a gay anthem adds another layer to this complexity.
It's almost like the song took on a life of its own, evolving over time.
Precisely. And that evolution is central to understanding the debates that still surround YMCA today.
Wow.
It becomes a lens through which we can examine changing societal attitudes toward sexuality and representation.
And speaking of debate, the lyrics themselves have caused quite a stir over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like everyone has an opinion on what YMCA is really about.
They really do. The lyrics, particularly that line, "You can hang out with all the boys,"
Oh, I see where you're going.
they've become a real point of contention. On the one hand, you've got Victor Willis,
The policeman?
right, the policeman from the group, and importantly, the song's co-writer. He insists that YMCA is not a gay song at all. In fact, he said his inspiration for those lyrics came from memories of playing basketball with his friends at the YMCA as a young man.
So, a completely innocent interpretation then. Just guys, being dudes.
That's how Willis presents it.
Okay.
But then you have David Hodo, the construction worker from the group, who offers a completely different perspective.
Oh.
He stated quite directly that the song was intentionally written to celebrate gay men at the YMCA.
Wow, talk about a contradiction. It's almost like the song becomes a cultural Rorschach test, revealing more about the listener than the song itself.
That's a great way to put it. How we interpret YMCA often depends on our own background experiences and even our own biases. It also requires us to consider the cultural context of the time. We can't forget that the late 70s were a very different era, especially when it came to attitudes about sexuality.
It's hard to imagine now with how widely accepted things are today, but back then, being openly gay was still really stigmatized.
Exactly. And the YMCA, for some gay men, provided a sense of community, a safe space where they could be themselves.
Right.
So when you listen to the lyrics through that lens, hanging out with all the boys takes on a whole new meaning.
It's almost like a coded language, a way of communicating something that couldn't be said openly at the time.
Precisely. And that's what makes analyzing a song like this so interesting. You have the intended meaning from the creators, which may differ from member to member, and then you have the meaning that's projected onto the song by the audience, which is shaped by their own experiences and the cultural context in which they're listening.
So we've got these dueling interpretations of the lyrics, but was there actually a specific YMCA that inspired all of this?
There are actually two YMCAs that have been linked to the song's creation.
Two, okay.
The one most often cited is the McBurney YMCA, which was located on West 23rd Street in New York City. It's since moved, but this was the YMCA that Jacques Morali, one of the key figures behind the Village People, was said to have visited and become fascinated by.
He even featured it in the music video. Remember that shot of them dancing with the building in the background?
Exactly. But here's where the story takes another turn.
Oh.
Remember how Victor Willis maintained that YMCA was inspired by his own youthful experiences playing basketball?
Right.
Well, he actually connected those memories to the YMCA on Buchanan Street in San Francisco, near where he grew up.
Hold on. So two different YMCAs, two different interpretations of the lyrics, and a whole lot of room for speculation. It's no wonder this song has sparked so much debate.
And that, I think, is precisely why YMCA has become so iconic. It's more than just a catchy tune. It's a cultural blank canvas onto which people can project their own experiences, interpretations, and even their own identities.
And let's not forget about that iconic arm dance. It's almost impossible to hear the song without instinctively wanting to throw your arms up in the air.
Oh.
But did you know that the dance itself wasn't actually planned?
Oh, you mean how everyone seems to know it instinctively? Tell me more.
Well, get this. The dance was actually a happy accident. It happened on American Bandstand back in 1979.
Why?
The Village People were performing the song, and when they got to the chorus, they just threw their hands up in the air, just going with the flow of the music.
I can just picture it. Yeah.
And the audience took it from there.
No way.
They spontaneously started forming the letters with their arms, and the rest, as they say, is history.
That's incredible. You have to wonder if they knew they were witnessing the birth of a global phenomenon.
Even Dick Clark, the host of American Bandstand, was blown away.
Yeah.
They actually rewound the song so the band could watch the audience do their thing. Can you imagine the YMCA dance born out of pure audience participation?
That's a perfect example of how songs can take on a life of their own. It's not just the artist's intention anymore. It's about how the audience interacts with the music, how they interpret it, how they make it their own.
And YMCA is the perfect case study in how a song can become so much bigger than just music. It's a ritual, a shared experience, a way to connect with others. I mean, it's practically a requirement at sporting events now.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about the Guinness World Record.
Oh, right.
In 2008, over 40,000 fans at the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas, did the YMCA dance together, breaking the record for the largest YMCA dance ever performed.
I can only imagine the energy in that stadium. It really speaks to the power of music to bring people together. But the story of YMCA doesn't end there, does it?
Not even close.
Uh,
This song has had a fascinating journey through pop culture, and it continues to spark debate and inspire new interpretations even today.
Speaking of the song's journey, fast forward to 2010,
Okay.
when the YMCA decides to rebrand itself as simply The Y.
The why?
You'd think they'd want to shout their connection to such a recognizable tune from the rooftops.
Yeah.
But it actually caused some concern.
Really? That's so interesting how,
Right.
even a song with, seemingly positive associations can take on a life of its own and then be kind of caught up with the image and reputation of an organization. It's like they're navigating this delicate balance. How do we appeal to a modern audience while still managing this legacy of a song that, let's face it, not everyone interprets in a, family-friendly way?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like Victor Willis, the policeman that we mentioned earlier, picked up on that concern.
Okay.
He actually released a statement
Oh, wow.
assuring everyone that the song was still fair game.
Yeah.
He even gave the Y his blessing to keep using the dance.
Yeah.
He seemed to understand that it wasn't just about him or even the YMCA anymore,
Yeah. It highlights how deeply embedded YMCA has become in our cultural consciousness. It's transcended its origins as a disco anthem and become something much bigger, something that people feel a sense of ownership over, like
Yeah.
it's theirs, you know?
It's like it become a shared cultural experience.
Exactly. And as with any shared cultural experience, YMCA has been reinterpreted and reappropriated in ways that reflect evolving social and political landscapes.
For sure.
Like, take, for example, Boy George's 2017 cover of the song. He infused it with a message of acceptance, particularly aimed at LGBTQ plus youth, directly addressing the subtext that had always swirled around the original.
Right, right. It's a reminder that music can be a powerful tool for social commentary and change.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another fascinating chapter in the YMCA saga, its use in the political arena.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been played at rallies for both Donald Trump and Joe Biden, igniting strong reactions from both sides of the political spectrum.
It's wild to think that a song with such a complex history, particularly regarding its connection to LGBTQ plus culture, would become like a political football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a testament to the song's ability to transcend its original context and become a blank slate onto which people can project their own beliefs and ideologies. But it also highlights the responsibility that comes with using music in a political context. When a song becomes so deeply entwined with cultural identity, using it for political purposes can be seen as either a powerful affirmation or a blatant act of appropriation, depending on your perspective.
So what does this all mean? We've got a song that topped charts globally, sparked debates about its true meaning, inspired a world record-breaking dance, and even found its way into the political arena. That's quite a legacy for a disco anthem.
It certainly is. I think YMCA serves as a powerful reminder that music is more than just entertainment. It's a reflection of who we are, where we've been, and the conversations we continue to grapple with as a society. It can be a source of joy, controversy, unity, and division, all at the same time.
It really makes you think about what other seemingly simple songs might hold deeper meanings and how those meanings might evolve over time. Has your perspective on YMCA changed at all? Would other songs come to mind that have sparked debate or taken on a life of their own? These are the questions we hope you'll keep exploring long after this deep dive is over. Until next time, keep those thinking caps on and those playlists playing.